what is the agenda of this talk. So I hand it over to Jen, and he will introduce himself and he will talk to you people.
Thank you for a warm welcome. So, I am also Dr. Jayant Mahajan. It's only that I'm not your kind of doctor. I've done my PhD in the area of management, right? Now, you would be wondering, so what is this business management person coming and standing and doing here in a medical college, right? So, let me just give you a little context. So this was about 2 years back. I was getting quite saturated with my job and just wanted to drop everything. I'm sure everybody here is in the same boat, right? Ho gaya abhi. Enough, right? So, I mean, I've been told so. So, yeah, we are. So I just want to drop everything and just go and do something else altogether. Just run away. And I've always liked outdoors, mountaineering, trekking, go camping, swimming. And in 2014, I also took up cycling, right? So along with everything else which I did, so I worked in the IT companies, ERP implementations, handling IT operations, setting up resorts, right? I did it for many years. Then I became an academician with Christ University. And well, I got fed up with that as well. I said, nothing doing, I'm just dropping everything. So I went to my director saying, I'm done, I want to resign. So he thought probably I'm getting a better offer. He said, okay, how much are you getting? Let's negotiate. I said, it's nothing to do with money. I just want to take up a journey. And I want to explore India. So, I mean, see, when you're working, you always maybe go for a vacation or you travel for business, right? And you do see different parts of country in patches, right? But that is more of a business travel or traveling as a tourist, right? So you probably go to Taj Mahal and you have Taj Mahal in the background, click a snap like this, and you post it on the photo, you post it on the Facebook, post it on Insta, and then you expect your friends and everybody else to like it, and you're happy, oh, I got what, 100 likes, 1,000 likes, whatever, right? And your journey ends there, right? That's a touristy way of traveling, right? That's not a traveler, that's not exploring. So I wanted to connect with the local culture, speak to the local people, understand what they feel, and all this in a continuum. Like you start from one end and go around the country. So it's kind of, you as a kid, you probably take a map and then trace it So I wanted to trace the map of a country on a bicycle. So I said, let's try and do that. But that's going to take a long time. So I said, the best way is to leave the job. But then when I told this to my director, he said, okay, give me a week, I'll come back to you. And after a week, he called me. He said, normally there's no long leave policy in our university. You're familiar with Christ University? Anybody from Bangalore here? Okay, you're from Bangalore, so probably you would have heard about it, Forum Mall, right? So he called me and he said, okay, we'll make an exception for you and you come back within a year, okay? So, well, I set myself on this journey on Jan 23rd, right? So about 4 months now, yeah. Now, I wanted to have some kind of a method to the madness. So I said, let's start from the 0 point of the country, right? Anybody from Gujarat here? Kutch, Gujarat, that part of the world? No? Okay. So I'm sure all of you know Gujarat, right? Yeah. So in Gujarat, there's a part called as Kutch, and out there you have a place called as Nada Bait. Okay, here if you see on the map. Okay, I hope I can't see the map from here. Okay, yeah. So this is the Nada Bait. Okay, that's where the India-Pakistan border starts from, right? It's called as 0 point. I'm sure all of you heard about Wagah border, right? So similarly, this is a Nada Bait. So I started from here and started cycling from here like this, and covered the India-Pakistan border from the Kutch desert. It's also called the White Desert. You know, if you actually go there, it's like miles and miles and miles of salt. Yeah, it's a layer of salt covering the ground. You know, so it's also called as the White Desert. So crisscross that, came to Saurashtra. From all these points, Konkan, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala, Kanyakumari, finished Tamil Nadu, Pondicherry, and entered Karnataka now. So that is my journey so far, which is about 4,500 kilometers I have cycled so far. I'm sorry, Andhra. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Andhra. Yeah, I think there are a lot of blank faces. What is he talking about, right? Yeah, okay. Right, yeah. And then now plan to cover the border of Andhra, get down to Orissa, West Bengal, the Seven Sister States, and cycle along the Nepal, UP border, Uttarakhand, Ladakh, Kashmir, Himachal, Punjab, Rajasthan, and next year, Jan 25, conclude my journey at the same point, right? So this journey has got multiple dimensions. One is, of course, as I said, I want to explore the country. So I want to feel the culture, speak to people, understand the culture. Second is, of course, look at the landscapes, different landscapes. The way Run of Kutch is very different from the Sahara Desert. Both are deserts, but they're very different, right? The beaches of Gujarat are very different from the beaches of Konkan. They're very different from the beaches of Karnataka. They're very different from beaches of Kerala. In Kerala, you have backwaters on one side and you've got a whole sea on the other side. And the beaches in Tamil Nadu are completely different, right? They have a very different character. And this you understand only when you actually travel in a continuum, right? So I wanted to experience these different landscapes. And of course, climate change as a cause has been very close to my heart right from my school days, especially when I remember 7th or 8th standard, we had this chapter on pollution, and it kind of hit me, okay, this is what happens. And then I've been so I've been working with different NGOs, different agencies on afforestation and a lot of other activities, even during my working tenure. So I said, let me bring all these things together. So my need to explore the country, I want to have fun cycling, and also run a whole advocacy campaign for climate change, right? So these three dimensions, they came together, and this becomes the foundation of my entire journey which I've undertaken, which I started on Jan 23, right? So, this is the context. I would like to stop at this point, and let's flip the classroom. So instead of taking questions during or towards the end, let's take questions in the beginning, right? So given this context, maybe take a minute to think and make a mental note of your questions. And after a minute, please voice your questions to me, and we'll build the entire discussion, because I think we have hour and a half, or maybe now an hour, right? 1 hour, right? So we will try and build a discussion around those questions instead of me talking what I think is good, right? So let us do that. Let's take a minute, yeah, and think of any questions that you may have in the context which I have spoken so far. Meanwhile, I'll just see if it is recording, okay? So we have a minute. Too tired? to think, I can imagine. That's exactly what happens. Or that's exactly what happened to me. You know, I was getting too tired to think, so I set up on this journey. I saw, yeah, yes, please.
Sir, I wanted to ask, what impact have you created till now regarding climate change?
Very good question. Okay. Yeah, this can come only from doctors. Right. Thanks. Okay. Any more questions? All right. So I'll just come to the impact. Okay. So as I said, I set up on this journey on 23rd of Jan, and these are my few early stage photographs in Jamnagar. And I've been speaking to different people from different walks of life. So you have NCC cadets, you have school children. I have been meeting. So this is my journey map so far. So I have something called as a Google map where I just put a point wherever I go, right? So this is my latest point. And these are the people I learn from. You know, when you go to you speak to the natives. This is one of the photographs in Tamil Nadu. This is one. Have you heard about Sadhana Forest in Pondicherry? So in Pondicherry, there's an Israeli couple who took up a complete afforestation program, right? And this is a Sadhana Forest. You have volunteers coming there from all over the world, and they stay for anywhere between 5 days to 5 years, and they contribute to the cause of afforestation. So they have about 70 acres of land, and they work there. So which includes police officers, people, right? This is, you know this, what drink this is?
Water. They all know only water.
Okay, so this is actually the juice from the palm tree called as padanir, right? And the same thing when fermented becomes our favorite drink, tadi, right? Yeah. So this also goes in appam, right? So, this has been my journey so far. Now, talking about the impact, the reason I showed you those slides is I have been connecting with many people, right? Now, here the impact is at two levels. One is the impact of this journey on me, and the impact of this journey on the people or the climate, right? The impact of this journey on me, I think, has been very positive and very enriching. Okay. I started with a lot of anxiety, though. I mean, like I had a conviction. Yeah, fine. I'll be able to pull through. You know, we'll have fun. And I have a broad outline of this journey. There's no specific plan, right? So, and this plan evolves week by week. So, in fact, I tried the typical business approach where I opened the Excel sheet and fine, my 1 year, 365 days, day 1 this, day 2 this, go here, then I'll probably tie up, send a mail to this person, ensure my stay is fine. Oh, so I tried the Excel sheet approach. And maybe I tried first 20, 30 days and I said, no, this is not working. Yeah, let's jump into it and let's figure out how things work, right? So it has been loosely planned, and I think that is the best way of going about. If I would have had a strict plan, this would have fallen apart long back. So in fact, when I started my journey, I didn't know where I was going to stay next. So I went and stayed in a school in Ran of Kutch, right? And so the school teacher, she opened this classroom and gave it to me, second standard classroom. So I carry my carry mat and sleeping bag wherever I go. So I just made myself comfortable. Some villager in the village, he heard that there's some guy who's come from outside, he's cycling. He actually came on his bike. He said, everybody follows Hindi here? Yeah, okay. So he came, सब हमने सुना आप बम्बई से आए हो यहाँ पे साइकिलिंग यात्रा पे हो, तो आप हमारे मेहमान आओ, ठीक है, तो आप घर चलो खाना खाने के लिए. I was a little skeptical, and I don't know this guy. He's come on the bike and it's about 7:38ish at night. Should I go or not? But I said, anyway, nothing to lose, so I just went there, right? He actually saw the typical Gujarati, the bajra rotlo and desi ghee and stuff. I was quite touched. And then throughout Kutch, I've been having very similar experiences. People are very warm, welcoming, right? And the objective which I had to connect with people and feel the local culture was achieved, right? And it had a deep impact on me. In a sense, the warmth which the villagers receive you is amazing. It really gives you a hope, yes, there is humanity still there, right? And this is across Kutch. I've experienced it almost day in and day out. So I think after 4 or 5 days, the anxiety with which I started this journey was kind of subdued and gradually it's not there anymore, right? I have become more open to experiences. I've become a little more confident, right? I have a restored faith in humanity because of all these experiences. I know there are gems everywhere, and with the right attitude and with right intentions, things do fall in place. So that has been an impact on me so far. From the cause perspective, the impact on me is I know by no means claim that I'm a domain expert and I'm here to teach and change the world. That has never been the intention. I, at a very personal level, believe in the cause of climate change. I believe that we need to do something about it. Of course, there are multiple dimensions to climate change, right? But overall, yes, we need to do something about it. So the first thing I've been learning, I'll give you an example. So this is what happened. So I was in Narabet, so that is this part of the country, here, this part, when I just started my journey. And it was my first day, first few hours in my journey, okay? And so I just left the border. So there's a whole army company out there. You understand, battalion, company, right? Different unit of measures of how many, yeah? So I left that company and then I was on the road. It was about 5:30, 6ish in the morning. And there's one, he was not a Jawan actually, he must be a little, maybe a major or something in the army. At the checkpost, he stopped me. He was alone there. So he said, it was a little dark, so probably he didn't know who was coming, whatever. So he just stopped me, what are you doing, where are you going, with all this. So I go with my cycle with this 4 bags attached to it, and it looks very different because that's not how a normal cycle looks, so people are not used to seeing that, So I told him, मैं मुंबई से आया हूँ और यहाँ से भी मैंने आज ही यात्रा आरंभ करी है, तो ये सब क्यों कर रहे हो? तो बोला ये मेरा कॉज है, तो बाकी सब तो if I talk about personal growth, this, that, I don't know what, if you want to listen to me also. So I said, okay, ये climate change का एक cause है जो लेके मैं चल रहा हूँ. So he looked at me very skeptically. He said, साहब ये सारे पेड़ तो काट दिए, अभी अब क्या बचाओगे? And he was very genuine about it. He had this experience where with a lot of love and care in his village, he and some of his community members, they had planted a lot of trees. And some company in the road expansion, in 2 or 3 years, they used to go water every day, trees, the saplings had grown big. And this the road construction company people, they came in and within few hours, they just leveled the whole thing. And that kind of hurt him a lot, right? And there were a few hundred saplings that they had taken care of, right? So he had suddenly probably become very skeptical about all these activities. He said, अब क्या कर लोगे? ये साइकिल लेके जा रहे हो, बैनर लेके जा रहे हो, क्या बात करोगे आप किसी से, है ना? So that was the note on which I started this journey, right? So now, what impact can I have on him? I don't know. Okay, how do I explain him? Because he's gone through this bitter experience, right? But then, on the other side, one more experience, I think in 2 or 3 days in same run of Kutch, I was cycling on a long stretch. It's a desert, okay? So it was a long stretch running across the desert. It's a small road, with Kacha road, right? And I was just enjoying my ride, looking at the desert, looking at a beautiful landscape. And there's this biker, his name is Yashas. You can actually search for him. He's there. So he was cycling from Bangalore. He was biking. He took his bike and he was exploring Run of Kutch on his motorbike. It was a very powerful motorbike, a typical biker's dress and all. So he was coming from the other side. I was going from here, and he stopped, right? Because it's only two of us on that road, right? And he said, I have been, I was just watching you. And in fact, I was thinking what kind of impact we've had on this earth, planet Earth. We are actually making it unlivable day by day. And I'm here on a bike trying to explore this beautiful landscape which is untouched. But probably within a few years, we'll have a problem, right? Maybe even this part, because the road is constructed, people will start coming and littering here. So this may not stay as beautiful as what it looks today. And there I see you from the other side. You're coming on a bicycle. And well, he must be in his maybe early 30s. And he sees all this white hair and he was pretty impressed, you know. How can you cycle at this age through the sun? And the first thing I'm going to do is, when I go back to Bangalore, I'm going to drop this bike and start cycling, right? So I think, well, that was a positive impact which probably I had on him. So there have been multiple different kind of people with different mindsets which you meet, and either they have some impact on you or you have some impact on them. This is a learning process, right? So I don't think I'll be able to change the world, but yes, there have been a lot of instances where I have had that positive impact on people. So I'll give you one more instance, two more instances. So I was in a place called as Gandhi Dham, not Gandhi Dham, sorry, Gandhi Nagar. Yeah, Gandhi Nagar. This is again near Kandla Port. Yeah, if you're from Gujarat, you probably know there's Mundra Port, Kandla Port. At least these Adani ports, Adani owns this Mundra Port, right? So this is generally news for whatever right, wrong reasons. So these terms at least you'll know, right? So I was in that part of the country. So there's a school called as St. Xavier School. And so I went to speak the way I'm here to speak to you. I went to speak to these students in St. Xavier School. And these were like 6, 7, 8, 9 students, 9 standard students, 10 students, they had their exams, so they didn't come. So after the session was over, we talked, we listened. So there's a small girl, I think she was in 7th or 8th standard, she stood up. So I was actually speaking about consumerism. You know, what happens is, see, one of the reasons why I believe there's so much of litter around us, we are blowing up mountains, we are polluting rivers, is because of we've gotten this habit of producing and consuming indiscriminately, right? You just produce a lot of mobile phones, you produce a lot of cars, you produce a lot of clothes, there's a fashion, the fashion changes, you just dump all the old clothes, right? You don't know how they are manufactured, what kind of resources have gone into it, but you just dump them, you buy new ones, right? And that's also the way to grow, and that's for the corporates, right? That's how your GDP goes up. So, but there's a fundamental problem in this entire approach, right? Excessive consumerism. That's one of the, I think, major causes of all these issues that we have. So I was kind of in a more simplified way, I was speaking to this group. So this girl heard about it and she asked me a question. So on every birthday, I force my parents to buy me a new dress, even if I have good ones at home. Is it okay? Right? So obviously I said, so if you don't need it, you shouldn't. Right? So I hope I got that girl thinking, and hopefully she will modify her behavior. Right? In the same batch, one schoolboy quietly comes. He didn't want to ask the question in front of everyone, so he comes to me and asks me, "Sir, you're going to do this 20,000 kilometers. That was like few hundred kilometers in a journey, few days. So you will do this 20,000 kilometers and talk about climate change and don't do this, this is harming the planet. You'll talk about all this to everyone. And what if nobody listens to you? How will you feel?" Now that is not a question that I expected a schoolboy to ask me. So. Well, I didn't have an answer immediately. Of course, I thought over it for a few minutes and then did give him a reply. But what do you think? What do you think the answer should be? somebody asks you, you're on a mission, you put put yourself in my shoes, and somebody comes and says, okay, they ask you this question, how will you feel? What do you think? What would your reply be? No reply? Yes, yes.
I would say that I have done my part. It's up to the people to listen or not.
Exactly, right? Thank you. So, oh, that was very quick because it took me probably a couple of minutes to come up with that answer. You came up with more quickly. So that's good, right? So that's exactly what I told him. So there is each one of us, we do our part, and then, well, as they talk in scriptures, you do your part and then let the things happen, right? So, in these small ways, so these are few instances which I've told you, right? So, when you meet these communities, when you meet these people, you do have some impact in your own way on their thought process. There are people, like in Karwar, I was there, and I was speaking to the hospitality management students, right? So I think they were in the second year of hospitality course. Most of them, they actually came from very remote areas of Karwar. So it was not one of those elite hospitality management college, right? And they've been always staying in the nice, dense forested areas in those villages. And now they wanted some more nicer jobs, So they thought hospitality is a great place. You get to work in 5-star hotels, wine, dine. So let's do this course and then get into hotel management. So I was talking to them. They had no clue what climate change is all about, right? How pollution impacts the planet Earth, how it will impact their next few decades, right? They had no clue. So I spent about an hour speaking about what climate change is, how it is caused, the pollution, the water pollution, right? Now again, pollution and climate change, they are connected, but pollution just becomes one small part of the entire thing. There are a lot of things out there, right? So I'm not getting in those complexities right now. So we spent about an hour talking about this. So it gave them a perspective, right? You may agree, you may disagree, but at least now there's a perspective, right? So in my own way, when I speak to different communities, different people from different age groups, I tend to at least get them to think. You may agree, you may disagree, it's fine. But at least there's a discussion. At least you've started thinking, if you've not so far. There are situations where I get impacted. I'll give you a couple of instances. So I was in Kerala. This is a village at the border of Kovalam. There's a district in Kerala, and Alleppey, which is another district. Okay. So I was cycling through the backwaters, and so there's a stretch of island, which I don't know if I can show it on the map, but let's see if I think I have this here. Yeah, something similar. Okay, but only there was a road here. Okay. So you see here in the backwaters here. And then I landed in a small village, which was right in between on the strip of land. And this guy had just come from the office. I think he just opened the gate and I was cycling from front of his gate. He saw me. I think he was a coast guard in his earlier career, and now he had taken a voluntary retirement, now become a bank manager with IndusInd Bank. Mr. Shaju, I forget his second name. So he got curious, what is this guy doing on cycle with all those 4 bags hanging, right? He stopped me. He said, why don't you come have tea with me? I said, okay, great. As a traveler, you're always looking for these invitations. So I was very happy he asked me. In Gujarat, I used to get these invitations a lot. When I started Touch Maharashtra, and that frequency reduced. So in Kerala, when I received this invitation, I was very happy. So I said, okay. So I walked into his house. And his father was a fisherman. Okay, he was a bank manager, but his father had a big fishing boat. And while he was trying to wind up his office work, his father and me, we got talking. So he started telling me that he was in his probably early 70s now. Okay. So he like in his younger days, as his in a new life as a fisherman, he used to go deep in the sea, and he was talking about the variety of fishes that he would find, and the catch that he would get as a result, his good old days. But now, because of couple of factors, one of is rising temperatures of the sea water and changing currents. He has to put triple or 4 times more efforts to get the same amount of catch, right? As a result, the price at which he has to sell the fish also is increasing. So there's a lot of, he's having a lot of problems. Second, he told me, so at this place, there's a company called as Kerala Mineral Mining. Okay, it's again the starting part of that Kovalam district and ending of Alleppey. So that part of Kerala beach, the sand is black. We normally used to seeing golden sand, white sand, right? It's a black sand throughout. So he said this color is black because it has got some rare earth minerals in it. So this company, for last 30, 40 years, it has been mining the sand and exporting it to Australia and many other countries to extract these rare earth material, right? As a result, the sea has come inside by about some 4 kilometers. So there were some villages, there was some church, some temple. Everything is under the sea now. So he himself and his other relatives, they used to visit a temple, right? There's some other villagers who were Christians, they used to go to a church. They used to walk. Now that's all under the water. The sea is right in. So the size of the island is reducing year on year, which is resulting on lesser land there. So those communities have to be shifted. Now they have spent their entire lives, generations out there. Suddenly you are plucked and put in a completely new system. You don't know how to live there, right? You're used to a certain way of life. The entire thing changes, right? The livelihood gets impacted, right? So there's a lot of issues. And plus, if the size of the island is getting reduced, one fine day, the entire sea is going to enter the backwaters, and that's going to impact the further villages, right? So it has got a lot of ecological, social impact. Now, I would have never known this if I wouldn't have cycled through those beaches and spoken to this fisherman, right? So that was the impact on me. So here, if I have to claim that I'm going to cycle and then go with that banner and change the world, and have a great impact like probably somebody like a Greta Thunberg probably would have. And of course, there are a lot of conspiracy theories around her. I don't want to get into that, right? Well, I don't think that's happening, at least during this journey, right? But yes, in that small delta impacts on me and me on the other people in a positive way are definitely happening. And I'm kind of 4,000 kilometers, 4,500 kilometers in this journey. I have about 15,500 more to go. So let's see, yeah. And also to have this impact, I have been told that I should really get on the social media, Instagram. Until almost Kanyakumari, I had no clue. I mean, how to use Facebook and Insta and YouTube to really get the message across. I mean, general functioning I knew, but to really use this effectively. So in fact, in Gujarat, when I used to cycle, every village boy, small boy, they would, "Aapka YouTube channel hai, Insta hai?" And I would say no. So then they would look at me like with a lot of pity and where does this guy come from? So I mean, he seems to come from city and he doesn't know Insta. So they would have YouTube channel bana, paisa milega. Bola, theek hai. That is their perception. So I said, okay, let me try. So in fact, I had this small, he was some 6th, 7th standard boy. So I stayed in a school. This principal of the school, he hosted me. So his son, he spent like an hour teaching me how to use Instagram. So he had a whole workshop for me. And but anyway, so I mean, I met a lot of people actually. So I was in Lakpad. So there's this YouTuber who was staying in the same dharamshala where I was staying. It was a Gurudwara actually. So I stay in temples, dharamshala, Gurudwara, dhabas in those big trailer cabins, wherever I get, So sometimes good government guest houses, right, naval base, wherever, So I met this boy, he was a YouTuber, so he spent a lot of time teaching me. So finally I cracked it a little bit when I reached Kanyakumari. With a lot of courage, I put my first Insta post, right? And then I said, Jaise bhi hoga, let me at least start putting the posts, So at least people start, and I actually realized the power it has. I just put some very simple post, nothing very, fancy. But that actually reached out to people. People started calling me, and I was myself surprised the power it has, right? Finally, I managed to crack the YouTube part when I was in Chennai. So Chennai, again, I met a young boy, Tokir, and he actually did a lot of small videos for me. And we posted, I think today morning he called me, okay, it has reached 500 likes. I said, wow, okay, great. So yes, I am trying to harness the potential of social media to try and amplify this impact. So yeah, well, this is a journey by itself, So I don't know if I've answered your question, but yeah, this is what I have to say. Right. Thank you. Any more questions? Yes.
Like you travel all of these states, could you give us some examples where locals are involved in saving the climate? Anything you saw locals doing?
Oh, plenty of examples. One of the examples, let me see if I have the photograph. No, I haven't included in my slide. No, it's not there in my slide. Okay, so in Gujarat, there's somebody called as Mr. Bhaskar Save. Okay, this is like a border of Maharashtra and Gujarat. I forget the name. Will I be able to access internet here? Let's try. If it works, great. If not, then that's fine. You can probably search for it. Okay, that doesn't matter. Okay, so there's this person called as Bhaskar Save, and he's got a farm called as Save Farms. Okay, you can search for it later. Okay, so about few decades back, some maybe 40, 50 years back, he started this experiment, and he believes that even agriculture, the way we know it today, is actually very harmful to the climate, and especially in Punjab, what we call as a green revolution. There are people who say it's not a green. You heard about green revolution, right? So it was not a green revolution. Actually, it was a greed revolution. Yeah, because of that revolution, the amount of toxic fertilizers which have been induced in the land, the amount of water by digging bore wells in the land you've pumped out, which has impacted the water table, right? As a result, the amount of diseases which have been spread, I mean, it is a very complex ramifications, okay, of that so-called green revolution, right? So agriculture, if you don't do it properly, it might just look green to the eyes, but it has a lot of toxic impact. So the next best thing is organic farming. The best is natural farming. Okay, so this Bhaskar Save, he is a big practitioner of natural farming. Okay, organic farming, at least you till the land and do a lot of things, right? Only you don't use fertilizers. Natural farming is you do nothing, just sow the seeds and it all happens, right? Nature takes care of itself. Now it's all nice in theory, but he's actually shown in practice in that 15 acres piece of land that he has. He's been practicing natural farming for last maybe some 35, 40 years. So he started the entire movement. So he's called as Gandhiji of farmers. Okay. So he started the entire movement. He practiced it for a few decades. Of course, now he is no more. But his son, who's in his early 70s, he is doing it. And his grandson is now taking over. And the entire family has been living very comfortably a good life from the income of that land alone. That means it definitely works, right? So he just let the palm tree grow, his paddy grows, just sow the saplings and, so he won't till the land, right? So a lot of people from different agricultural college, politicians, bureaucrats, they come to his farm, stay to see what he's doing, right? But obviously these kind of initiatives don't get highlighted because then that's going to impact other businesses, fertilizer business and a lot of other businesses, right? So, well, there'll be a whole lobby which will try and curtail this. There are a lot of other theories, right? So, I know a person who gave up. So I think he was some professor in Gujarat, right? Somewhere near Rajkot. He had some ancestral land. He just stopped being a professor. He went and he planted a few lakh trees over his piece of land. I forgot the area, how much he had, right? And he just stayed there, just to afforest that whole barren piece of land. So there are a lot of, in fact, in the place where I come from, it's called as Khopoli, which is between Bombay and Pune. There's a place, okay. So about 60 kilometers from my house, there's this whole community. I'm a part of it, in fact. So what we did was, those people came and I kind of volunteered later for some part of my career. They bought about 60 acres of land, and the agreement between those 20 people was that we will never use it commercially. We'll just let the forest grow, that's all. So we built a pond, a mud pool, a mud house, not even electricity, right? Now we're thinking of putting solar panels there. And just let the forest grow. Okay, it was a complete barren land, and we just let the forest grow over last few decades. And now it is a very thick forest. And because of that forest, a lot of other villages, the water table has gone up, and it has in fact, a lot of Adivasis, they come there to hunt for their food, right? So it has helped the villages around, right? So, and these are just a few examples. There are like thousands. In Trivandrum, I visited a project called as Khandari, Khandiri. Now this is a Dutch guy with his German girlfriend. They have been staying there for the last 26 years, and this girl is blind. So she actually came all the way, and this guy joined. He left everything in his country and then joined her. And they've been running skill development programs for all the disabled people across the world, right? And try and impart those skills where they can go to their respective countries and do something really meaningful. And there are a lot of success stories out there, right? So there are many people. In fact, in Chennai, I stayed with somebody called as Mr. Hafiz Khan. How I met him is a different story altogether. And he had a nice cushy life, a lot of forefathers' income. But he took up to this job of growing urban forests, right? So he actually works with all these big companies, Microsoft and Oracles of the world, and taps into their CSR funds and grows forests for them. One more example in Trivandrum, there's somebody called, again he was hosting me, so Mr. Lawrence, Thomas Lawrence. In fact, this poster that you see probably has a logo here. This logo that you see here, SWIM, yeah, Save Wetlands International Movement, right? So he runs this organization called as SWIM, and he from Trivandrum went to US, got the citizenship, but he came back, and now he is focusing on saving wetlands in Trivandrum. Trivandrum was anybody from Trivandrum here? Yeah, okay, right, yeah. So Trivandrum was once a place full of wetlands. You understand wetlands? Wetland is not, it's a water body where the water is not very deep, it's marshy, right? So that has its own reason for its existence, and you need that, in the ecosystem. It's kind of a buffer zone. So now, of course, with all the Infosys and everybody else coming there, those wetlands are gone. Everything is cemented, right? So Mr. Lawrence, he works for this cause, right? So a lot of examples like this, I can keep going, and I've met so many people. I've learned so much from them, right? Yeah, so to answer your question, yes, there are a lot of people who are trying to solve this issue from different dimensions. In fact, Mr. Lawrence, one of the success stories I'm really touched was near Trivandrum, somewhere in Kerala, there was a railway line passing. There is a railway line passing, and each time a train passes, there have been multiple instances where the elephants get killed because the elephant would be crossing, train comes, it's at a speed, of course the train can't slow down, and it would hit the elephant would get killed. So he actually worked with the bureaucrats, he worked with the government, so this is called as advocacy, and ensured that the railways, they pump in a few crores and build an underpass so that the wildlife can pass comfortably, So of course, they didn't want to put money, right? But then he lobbied and got politicians involved and did a lot of things, wrote a lot of compelling letters, right? And finally, they managed to build it, and they sent him a first video of the elephant actually passing through that underpass, So now obviously the death rate of elephants have gone down drastically because thanks to his efforts, So what I'm trying to say is there are people who are working from the farming angle, from the animal activist angle, from wetlands, So there are so many things that you have to approach this issue from. There are so many dimensions from which you have to approach this issue from, and the multiple people working in this area. So yes, I can go on with I don't know how many examples with this. Yeah. Any more questions? Yeah.
Sir, since that you have traveled a lot of bigger land of our country and you have interacted with many people and also of people from different communities and socio-economic status, I would like to ask, when we go about to create awareness about something, there are people, they have their own thoughts, opinions, which they don't want to give up. What are the barriers one would face?
Excellent question.
How do we overcome?
Okay, it just happened. It was an hour back, okay? So, we got in a small debate, okay? Just with some faculty members here, right? And this also happened in Trivandrum. Especially, see, this never happened in Gujarat because there people are, fine, happy-go-lucky, enjoy your life. And of course, they help you also be comfortable. In Kerala, people are skeptical about everything, right? They'll rip you off, okay? And I've actually gone through it, okay? And when I say skeptical about everything is in a good sense. They would critically look at everything. Yeah, which is good, yeah? And that's the reason I think you have a lot of intellectuals coming from, Bengal, Kerala, that parts. So, when I was in Trivandrum, so this guy, he started sending me WhatsApp articles, okay? Like, you're doing all this climate change stuff, but there's no climate change. What are you talking about? He said, it is not the human activities. And the same argument which is had, just a while ago, same thing happened in Trivandrum. So he with a lot of scientific data. So it's not that he's just talking something in the air just to defy what I'm saying. He has a lot of data, a lot of his own reasons, research papers, saying that the temperature of the earth crust is rising, right? And that's the reason there's a lot of heat around. The impact that the human activities can have on this huge planet are minuscule. So they will not impact, so it's a part of the cycle. So I don't think you should make too much noise about this whole climate change issue. I can actually show you those articles. Maybe if somebody is interested, you can get in touch with me, right? So yes, there are people who won't agree with what you're saying, and they will try to corner you in a debate, but that's a part of the process. Because see, you can't overcommit, okay? You can't fight because the time is too small. Like if I am going to be there for an hour, right? How do you finish your debate, right? Because they have very strong conviction and they have enough data, right? And these kind of debates would probably take a few days or maybe never get resolved. So you just agree to disagree and move on. Yeah, but one good thing is when you get in these debates, you come out more stronger. Your thought process becomes more refined, right? It's possible that the person is right. You just give it that benefit of doubt, agree to disagree, and move on. And I think that's the only thing that you can do. Yeah, I don't know if any other solution exists. In case you know some, I'm happy to hear that, right? And I don't know if the reason you probably asked this question, if you face this somewhere, I'm not sure, right? So yeah, in most of the cases you agree to disagree, right? So yeah. Any other question?
What about your family?
What about my? What about my? Family. Oh, okay. So I'm not married. Okay. I've got my parents. Thankfully, they are hale and hearty. So in fact, that's also one of the reasons I took up this journey now. I've been wanting to do this for many years. And now I'm touching 50. I said, I'm fit. My parents are okay. They can take care of themselves. And this is the high time I take this journey, because if I don't do it now, probably if I wait for a few more years, I may not be able to take up a similar journey, right? So I do go to my parents. So in Trivandrum, I took a break. I was there for a week. Even now, in fact, I'm here. So I'm going to take a small break of a week, go home, come back, and then resume my journey. So I do this. Yeah, and that's all. So the answer to that question is very simple. Any other questions? So well, I think, yes, anybody? Yeah, here. I think we have had a fair representation from two rows. Any questions from here and here? No?
About girls are not talking. All boys are asking questions.
Everybody is tired. Okay. Right. So, broadly, this is what the journey has been about, and I just thought I'll share this with you, and hopefully, some different thought process from your routine stuff that you do. And yeah, well, if there are no more questions, I would like to conclude. Thank you very much.